So news breaks yesterday that Mauricio Pochettino and Chelsea have, quote, mutually agreed to part ways. A very weird phrasing of the matter, but let's be real. This is a bit unexpected. I expected Poch to get sacked earlier in the season. I feel like a lot of people were calling for his head. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I know Chelsea fans, they wanted Poch out from the moment he was appointed. Some of them. So, in spite of that, I want to talk about Mauricio Pochettino as a coach and Chelsea as a club as it's taken shape under Todd Boehly and Clear Lake, and just how I feel like this is just pointless because first off, let's look at this. Chelsea, sure, not the best results against City or Arsenal, but the last few games, I mean, 2-0 win against Tottenham, 5-0 against West Ham, 3-2 against Nottingham Forest, 2-1 against Brighton, 2-1 against Bournemouth. Obviously not the biggest sides, a 2-all draw against Aston Villa. This implies that Chelsea is in a position where Pochettino is starting to click with the side. Even before that, they were undefeated literally first and second in the league against one of the youngest sides in the league. Before that, they only lost. This is a EFL Cup game. So I'm trying to look the last time they lost in the league that wasn't Arsenal or City. And it's going to have to go kind of far back. I think February 4th. Mate, he went 3 months undefeated in the league to close out the season. And that's kind of why I feel like it's pointless, because it takes just about that long for a manager to settle in. And I understand that some Chelsea fans were put off by the fact that Pochettino was, a Tottenham man or whatever. And I could imagine that feels a little rough. Rafa Benitez was at Chelsea and they did not like Rafa Benitez one bit, and the same kind of thing happened. But when you look at a few things here, we're going to start with Poch. His kind of CV right now, at least in recent history, isn't inspiring at all. And I feel bad for him because I think inside Mauricio Pochettino is a good coach that can lead a side to good things. But he went to PSG on January 2nd, 2021. He was sacked July 5th, 2022. He went to Chelsea May 29th, 2023. Today's May 22nd. He was sacked yesterday, 2 days ago. It's rough. For him, I don't know what's next. If I were to guess, I think he might get the United job now that he's there. With Xavi gone, maybe Barcelona. I don't think so, actually. But he coached a rival to Barca. I scratched that entirely. That job's open. I would have thought he went to Bayern, personally. I thought Bayern was where Pochettino would go. I'll touch on it in the next video. You might know what's happened with that. That video should come very shortly as well. But I'm just shocked, personally. I think that when you look at the next odds for coaches, Kieran McKenna is the favorite, then De Zerbi, then Thomas Frank, then Ruben Amorim, Tuchel, Conceição, Fabregas, and Hoeneß. I'm going to touch on all of them really quickly. Kieran McKenna, the favorite, just got promoted with Ipswich Town. It just feels like another Graham Potter. Do you want to kind of go for someone who was just in the championship and then expect them to you're expecting improvement if you're sacking Poch, is what I would imagine, right? Like, you would expect that the side would improve if you think that Pochettino is not doing a good job, so you sack him. Kieran McKenna would go from the championship to trying to get into the Champions League. That just wouldn't work. That just doesn't make sense. I don't think he has it in him. Obviously Chelsea has the quality of player to go and play an exciting brand of football, and Poch has proven that. But I just don't see it fitting well. Graham Potter was kind of ran out because he didn't fit the culture of the club. I don't think that, a former Man United assistant is gonna do much better. It's kind of like, feels like Chelsea's really scraping the bottom of the barrel with him as the favorite in a very kind of shallow pool of managers. It's not like there's a abundance. De Zerbi, I've made my feelings known for Roberto De Zerbi multiple times on this channel. I don't rate him at all at this point. The way he left Brighton feels a little like Brighton fans feel happy because, they played the best football of their history, according to some of them, under De Zerbi. So in my eyes, like, who am I to discredit them of that kind of joy? But from the outside looking in, it feels like he was really, really trying to, the whole season, it felt like he was distracted, and you could see that spilled onto the results. Brighton could have finished higher. He could have left them in a better position. He could have left on, better terms than it seems like he's left. Obviously, the fans rate him, but I think he would fit the style and culture of Chelsea. I just don't think that De Zerbi has the moxie. I straight up don't. I hate to say it, but just the way he's been moving recently, I don't rate it. Thomas Frank, Brentford nearly faced a relegation battle. Obviously, Ivan Toney was out for a vast portion of the season. The way that their defense has always been structured, Brentford, I think, has been shoddy at best. Thomas Frank, I don't know. I feel like he'd be like another Graham Potter. Brentford and Brighton have like a kind of similar through line in some respects, and I feel like this would just be more of the same. It's kind of, I feel like Kieran McKenna, Thomas Frank would do kind of similarly as well as one another at Chelsea, but I don't think that justifies going for either one of them as the favorite. The man that first jumps out on this list is Ruben Amorim, because Ruben Amorim, yes, he's a talented coach. The whole rumors surrounding him potentially being linked to West Ham. I know some Chelsea fans might kind of, I don't know, they might scoff at the fact that a manager was even linked to West Ham. But at the same time, he was linked to Liverpool. That ended up kind of never materializing. They won the Liga Portugal this season. I believe it's back-to-back. Let me check. Is it back-to-back wins? No, it's not back-to-back. But he's won it before, I believe. But he's won it this season. That's all that matters. He's on a great run of form. He is an exciting coach. But I feel like he is in a weird, delicate spot where he has kind of already said he's not going to leave, and as a result, there's just this kind of, I don't know, I feel like if he were to leave now, it would really sever ties with that fan base. Like, it'd be a harsh move. I don't know if the man's ready for that. But yeah. Thomas Tuchel, I don't think it's the right move. I know that players wanted him to stay last season, some of them. Chelsea feels like a bit of a revolving door at the moment. Who knows if even those players end up staying at the club. Mount was sold. Gallagher is getting sold. They're going to bring in new players that he won't recognize, but I don't know. I feel like if you're going to bring him in, you should have just never interrupted it in the first place. Like, you should have just left him there. And some people might disagree, but that's just my opinion. You should have saw it through with him, because he had delivered you a Champions League and he had the backing of some of the players. And it seemed like if things continued under Tuchel, I think things would have been fine to an extent. That's also me maybe being biased as a Liverpool fan, but at the same time, I don't know if it's best to go double dip again. Sergio Conceição, coach of Porto, feels a bit like Amorim. He does have like that. I could see him on a Chelsea touchline. Um, but I'm just kind of still dismayed by the fact that Poch was sacked. Some people will be fine with it. And out of the list, I feel like he's maybe the most, and not maybe the most attainable, but I'd take him over McKenna. I'd take him over the Zerbi maybe. I don't know. I would just go back for Mourinho if you could. Honestly, that's my advice, Boehly, even though I don't really rate you. I'm also a Liverpool fan, so I'm never going to want you to succeed. But Mourinho would be box office stuff. And plus, we lost a big personality leaving in Liverpool this year with Klopp. Bringing in Mourinho would be like, it wouldn't be like something's missing, but it'd feel like an equivalent exchange. Mourinho would be an exciting addition back. Cesc Fabregas, I mean, he was caretaker of Como. He played there for a bit. Former player, would it work? Maybe. I'd take him over Frank. Would I take him over the Zerbi? I don't know. McKenna. I don't know about Amorim. If you could get Amorim, maybe, but like I feel like that's really rough. And yeah. But Seb Honus would be an interesting choice. I just am pretty sure he's recently signed an extension at Stuttgart. Maybe it has like a release clause. Maybe there's something in there. He'd be the most intriguing pick on this list, I think. I think he could actually make something out of that club. And I'd be a little fearful if he was appointed because I'd be like, okay, there's something to contend with here. Finishing second in the Bundesliga this season ahead of Bayern. But yeah, one final thing I want to touch on. Chelsea player shocked. And I want to kind of close this video out on the fact that it feels like every time things start settling down at Chelsea, Todd Boehly and co. figure that they have no other choice than to just, let's mess things up. I don't know if that's how things are going to work from here on out with Chelsea, or if this is just because of the Tottenham link. I don't want to put all the blame on them. It's a complicated situation regardless, but if McKenna or De Zerbi or Tuchel or Honus or Amorim or whoever it might be, Mourinho comes in and you give him 1.5 to 2 years and you sack him, you should hang your head in shame, because that is not how, like, maybe if you guys deliver a trophy or something, sure. But like, even then, that's not like really long-term planning. A big injury to a few players, as you could see throughout the course of this season for Chelsea, can derail a season. Who knows what their plans are? Who knows what the punishments might be for certain alleged breaches of PSR and FFP or FFP. I forget which one. Alleged is the key word there. Alleged. I'm just kind of taken out by this. Pochettino, my prediction for him, I think he'll end up coaching United. It seems like there's been like little breadcrumbs that he would be interested in going to United. I could see it. I think he'd actually do a decent job. I could see him revitalizing Marcus Rashford a little bit. But I don't know if Rashford stays at United. It feels like if they have to generate some funds, maybe he's there. There's a lot of question marks around this. Chelsea fans, let me know what you think. Non-Chelsea fans, let me know what you think as well. Should Pochettino have been sacked? Who should Chelsea get? What are your thoughts? I quite frankly have been stunned these last few days with the manager merry-go-round. There's going to be more managerial news coming soon. You might know what it is. That's a sneak peek for that. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sideline Sedo. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.